Hello everyone, I'm making this video because I had been waiting to see if they were going to release some additional files. And since that has not come out, I am making this video. I was hoping maybe my questions would be answered with any additional files being released. It has to do with Chris visiting the Home Depot the weekend that he committed the murders. In the discovery, it indicates that an Officer Perez and an Officer Lines both went to different locations requesting surveillance footage. Officer Perez was sent to McDonald's and Home Depot in Thornton, and Officer Lines was sent to the Conoco station and a Home Depot in Firestone. But we do not have the footage from either one of those Home Depot locations. And that has me wondering. So I went back throughout the discovery and I searched the term Home Depot. And the only thing that I could find regarding Chris and Home Depot is all the way back on July the 22nd. It was a Sunday. It was actually the day after Chris and Nikki went to the Bandimere Speedway. So the very next day, July 22nd, Sunday, at 9 a.m., Chris searched Google for Home Depot in Broomfield. So all the way back in July, Chris was looking for Home Depots. Now, I don't know. It's possible that the police officers came across receipts linking Chris to Home Depot and McDonald's and the Conoco station. I'm not sure. It doesn't state why they were interested in getting surveillance footage from the Home Depot. But I just have to wonder, is it relevant to the case? Did he buy something at the Home Depot related to the crime? And maybe that's a possibility why they haven't released the Home Depot footage. If you take a look at the report by Officer Perez, it states that he was requested to retrieve video surveillance from McDonald's in Erie, Colorado, and from Home Depot in Thornton, 16420 Washington Street, Thornton, Colorado, from 8/10/2018 at midnight to the present time, which was 8/14/2018, the day after the murders. So it appears they were very interested in getting this surveillance footage from the Home Depot for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday at midnight. Now, Friday was the day that Shanann left for Arizona, and Chris also did not work that day. So he apparently went to the Home Depot, either that one or the one in Firestone, which Officer Lines requested footage from that location. She also requested it for the same dates. They both left flash drives, and they both received those USB drives from the Home Depot stores on 8/16. The store that Officer Lines requested her footage from was the Home Depot on Jake Jabs Boulevard in Firestone. So wonder why they haven't released this Home Depot footage. Could he have possibly purchased something that was used in this crime? Or to cover up the crime? Or were they looking to see if someone was with him? I don't know, but it's always bugged me and wondered why he was Googling a Home Depot clear back in July, and then they so happened to want to get surveillance footage from the Home Depot. Now, I know that they had released the Conoco gas station footage. We've all seen that, where Chris went in after his date to the Lazy Dog, and then he goes into the gas station with his flip-flops on. We've all seen that, but we've never seen this footage from either of the Home Depot locations. So that's something that they have held back in their files. And I was hoping that might be released along with the additional documents, but apparently not. They're not releasing that. I know there's been a lot of conspiracies put out and this and that about why Chris took him to the oil tanks, and was going to be an explosion. I don't feel that way. I don't think that he was going to do an explosion. I think usually the simplest answer is the right answer. I just think, and how he had said when he went to be interviewed, he used the word they vanished. They're vanished. They have vanished. I know he used that term. I think that's really what he had planned, that they were just going to vanish off the face of the earth. I think that's why he put the girls in the tanks, because eventually they would have vanished. I'm sorry to say that, but I think, that would have happened eventually in those tanks in the hot sun. It's just, lucky that they caught him when they did and were able to retrieve their bodies. After he confessed and told the story to his dad, Ronnie, in the interview room, Graham and Tammy come back into the room, and Chris says, they asked him where the girls were, where Shanann was, and he says, they're gone. There's no bringing them back. I didn't know what to do. I think that's exactly what he wanted to happen, that they're gone and there's no bringing them back. Because eventually in those tanks, that's exactly what would have happened. And just my opinion, that the reason he put Shanann where he did in such a shallow grave, it's a possibility he was going to make her vanish too, along with the girls eventually. Not to get graphic, use your imagination, but with her, he possibly was going to, when he could, I don't really want to get graphic, but because she couldn't fit in an 8-inch hole, of course, but eventually go back after time and put her in those tanks too, and then she would have vanished as well. That's just my opinion. I've never stated this anywhere, but I think that makes a lot more sense than a massive explosion and a group of co-conspirators. I think if you look at the letter that he left with his parents and his sister in North Carolina, saying if, my wife does, if anything happens, my wife did it, or something to that effect. He left that letter, which seems to show premeditation, but it also shows that I feel Chris was just going to say she took off, she took the girls with her, and then nobody would have ever seen them ever again. That's what I think he was planning on happening, is where he put them in the oil tanks, that they would have vanished, and eventually went back when he was able and put Shanann in there as well. And they both would have all three would have literally vanished off the face of the earth. No one would have ever found them, and he thought he would have gotten away with it. But I've just really been always interested as to what would appear on both of those Home Depot surveillance footage. Maybe they didn't find anything, and maybe that's why they never released them. But, something sent them to those Home Depots, possibly a receipt that they found. I'm not sure, but we do know he went to Conoco. I'd just really like to see those surveillance videos and see what Chris was up to at the Home Depot. It's possible he bought a tarp, or who knows what. Some type of tool possibly that he would have used when he went back to also put Shanann in the oil tanks. That's just my theory, that he was going to do that and make them all vanish. Let me know what you think in the comments.